Most brands lower prices when business slows down, but a handful of European luxury houses would rather burn their products than put them on sale. Yes, burn them. Why? Because for these brands, discounts destroy the illusion of power. In their world, lowering prices is the same as lowering status, and that is something they refuse to do under any circumstance. And as crazy as it sounds, you're about to see how these luxury houses have built an entire empire with one strict rule. If you can't afford it today, you're not supposed to. Today, we're counting down the top 5 European luxury brands that never go on sale, and number 1 guards its global prices so carefully that employees can get fired for offering even a 1% discount. Let's begin. Number 5, Chanel, the brand that controls time itself. When you walk into a Chanel boutique, one thing becomes obvious. You are not in a store, you are in a controlled environment. Everything is regulated: the lighting, the music, the fragrance in the air, even the number of customers allowed inside. And one thing you will never find is a discount tag. Chanel does not do promotions, clearance, Black Friday deals, or end-of-season sales. Why? Because Chanel operates on a luxury strategy called value preservation. This strategy means, if prices go down, the brand loses prestige. If prestige drops, demand drops. And if demand drops, Chanel stops being Chanel. So instead of lowering prices, they do the opposite. Chanel increases prices every single year. Take the Chanel Classic Flat Bag. 10 years ago, you could buy it for around 3,000 euros. Today, it's over 9,000 euros and people still line up to buy it. This isn't an accident. Chanel does this on purpose. The higher the price, the more exclusive it becomes. The more exclusive it becomes, the more you want it. And here's the part most people don't know. Chanel doesn't just avoid discounts, they avoid overproduction. If a Chanel bag doesn't sell, they don't mark it down. They destroy it. They would literally rather lose money than lose status. You might think that's extreme, but this is exactly why Chanel stays on top. You're not buying a bag, you're buying a piece of a world where not everyone can enter. Number 4, Rolex, the brand you can't even buy when you have the money. While most companies spend millions trying to get customers, Rolex does something completely different. They limit the supply on purpose. That's right, you can walk into a Rolex boutique with 20,000 euros in your pocket and still walk out with nothing. Not because they don't like you, not because you didn't dress well, but because they simply don't have anything to sell you. This is why Rolex watches never go on sale. There are more buyers than watches. If you've ever tried to buy a Submariner, a Daytona, or a GM Master 2, you already know. You don't just buy a Rolex. You earn the right to buy a Rolex. Stores have waiting lists that last months or even years, and if you're not an established customer, you might not even get on the list. Rolex uses a strategy called controlled scarcity. This means they keep production low, demand stays high, resale prices rise, the brand becomes even more desirable. For example, a 12,000 euros Rolex Daytona can sell for 25,000 euros on the second-hand market. That's not normal, that's engineered scarcity. And here's the part people don't expect. Rolex destroys unsold watches too. Not all of them, but enough to make sure the market never gets flooded. Because the moment Rolex becomes easy to buy, it stops being Rolex. You never see a Rolex discount because Rolex understands something most companies don't. People don't want what everyone can have. Number 3, Louis Vuitton, the brand that would rather burn bags than decount them. Louis Vuitton isn't just a luxury brand, it's a global luxury machine. And the rule that keeps the machine running is simple: no discounts, ever. If you walk into any Louis Vuitton store in Europe, Paris, Milan, Berlin, Copenhagen, you will never see a single sale sign. Not even one. Louis Vuitton has one of the strictest no discount policies in the luxury world. And here's why. LV follows the monopoly of desire strategy. This means they control the price, the demand, and the entire customer experience. By doing this, Louis Vuitton becomes the standard of luxury. And when you're the standard, you don't need to lower prices. But their no discount policy goes even deeper. Anything unsold gets destroyed, not discounted. Unsold wallets, destroyed. Unsold shoes, destroyed. Unsold limited collections, Destroyed? Why? Because a discount cheapens the brand. Destruction, on the other hand, protects exclusivity. And here's something even more surprising. Louis Vuitton often increases prices multiple times a year, especially in Europe. A €1,500 bag 5 years ago might now be €2,300 or more. Yet you still see lines outside the store. Why? Because LV has mastered the psychology of luxury. Scarcity plus status equals power. But you feel that power the moment you walk in. The security guard opens the door. The sales associate greets you by name if you're a returning customer. Everything feels controlled, expensive, elite. This is why Louis Vuitton doesn't discount. Because for this brand, price isn't a barrier. Price is the confirmation that you made it. Number 2, Hermès, the brand that makes you prove yourself before buying. Hermès takes exclusivity to a completely different level. You already know they don't discount, that's obvious. But Hermès goes even further. They don't even let you buy their most famous products unless they decide you're worthy. The Hermès Birkin and Kelly bags are the perfect example. You can't just walk into a boutique and say, "I want a Birkin," even if you have the money. Instead, Hermès places you in what many people call the Hermès game. Here's how it works. You have to build a relationship with the store. You buy scarves, shoes, jewelry, ready to wear. You build a purchase history, and then maybe months later, your sales associate offers you a Birkin. Not the color you want, not the size you want, not the hardware you want, but the one they selected for you. This is luxury power at its highest level. Why Hermès never discounts? They control supply with extreme precision. They maintain prestige by limiting access. They protect resale value. A Birkin often sells for more on the second-hand market. A €9,000 Birkin can resell for €15,000, €20,000, even €30,000 depending on the color and rarity. Hermès understands one truth. People value what is difficult to get. Discounting would destroy that entire system. Hermès doesn't need to go on sale. The brand is so desirable that they can make customers wait years for the chance to spend money. That is the peak of luxury dominance. Number 1, Cartier, the brand that protects price like a national secret. Cartier is a name you don't just hear, you feel it. It carries history, royalty, power, and legacy. And this is why Cartier guards its pricing more aggressively than almost any other European luxury house. This is a brand that sells €7,000 bracelets, €8,000 watches, €30,000 engagement rings, €100,000 masterpieces for private clients. So you would expect them to run discounts, right? Especially during slow months or global market changes. Absolutely not. Cartier never discounts, not even for employees. And here's the shocking part. If a Cartier employee is caught offering a secret discount, they can be immediately fired. Not warned, not punished. Fired. That's how strict the system is. Why Cartier never discounts? 1. Heritage equals power. Cartier has been worn by kings, queens, presidents, and billionaires. Their brand image is built on royalty and prestige. You can't mark down royalty. 2. Price integrity. Cartier enforces global pricing. A bracelet in Paris must cost the same as a bracelet in Dubai or Tokyo. If you discount in one place, the entire pricing system collapses. 3. High demand. Just like Rolex, Cartier pieces often sell out. The love bracelet, the Juste Clou, the Panthère watch, these items rarely sit on shelves. 4. Timelessness. Cartier pieces don't follow trends. They follow legacy. This is why older Cartier pieces often increase in value over time. Cartier has mastered the art of timeless luxury, and timeless brands simply don't do sales. Luxury isn't about price, it's about power. When you look at these European luxury houses, Chanel, Rolex, Louis Vuitton, Hermès, and Cartier, you start to see a pattern. They don't discount because they don't chase customers. They don't go on sale because they don't want to be accessible, and they don't lower prices because the people who buy from them aren't looking for deals. They're looking for prestige, exclusivity, scarcity, status, and a feeling that not everyone can have what they have. That's why these brands remain at the top. That's why their value grows every single year. And that's why customers, including you, are drawn to them. Luxury isn't just about what you buy, it's about what it says about you.